Okay, you guys, this is Ella here from Author Like a Boss, here to talk to you about newsletters, your secret weapon, and emails. And that's what this whole month is going to be about, is emails and newsletters. So you're going to get a little bit each week. Hi, Sandra. Good morning. So each week you're going to get a little bit of information, that builds on itself, so that by the end of the month, you should have everything that you need to get your email list started and your newsletters going out. Okay, so we thought, let's have this be, really useful for you guys. Okay, so I wanted to first ask you guys, are you hearing me okay? Are you hearing me? Let's do a mic check, and then go ahead and tell me what genre you write. Go ahead and put it in the comments. I know there's not a whole bunch of people here, but even if you're watching this later, go ahead and interact with the past me, which is right now current me. And then I wanted to ask you, or I wanted to tell you. Oh, hi, Joanne from Australia. Joanne, what do you write? And what type of genre do you write? Boo, boo, boo. Sandra, I know what you write. About people singing. Okay. General fiction. I think general fiction doesn't sound as cool as what you actually do. Okay, no matter what genre you write, you guys, if you're going to author like a boss, you gotta have an email list, okay? You've got to have an email list. It's the difference between having a bunch of sales for your book. It's the difference. It's like having a bunch of sales for your books versus going to your reports page on your Amazon or wherever you're selling and seeing crickets. Okay, having that email list is so important. And it's because having an email list allows you to build relationships with your ideal readers without worrying about social media algorithms. Like, you get to one-on-one, email to email, like contact and relationship building. Okay, so this is why this month, that's why I'm going to talk about it, because it's I'm like, January, what we're going to talk about in January. I'm like, the first thing people need to start with is building your email list. Like, it's every entrepreneur. And I know you guys don't necessarily think of yourselves as entrepreneurs, but as authors, as business people, as just people who are selling a product, your book, you are entrepreneurs. Okay. And so every entrepreneur is like, the first most important thing is having an email list. Okay, so I wanted to ask you guys, I wanted to ask you, how many people have thought about building an email list? Or, well, one, how many people have an email list? But how many of you have thought about doing it and then been like, and got stopped before you even started? Or some people, you got partway through and then you're like, I don't know. How many people has that happened to? I'm just curious. And look, Joanna is like, historical fiction. Oh, and I might not be seeing all of your comments because I shared this a couple times and I'm just one person. So if you're commenting in different groups where I'm not at, I might not see your comments. I don't know. Sometimes Facebook shows me all the comments. Sometimes it doesn't. So, okay, I'm gonna assume that some of you guys have been like, I don't know, sometimes that I've tried before, but sometimes then I got stopped. Or I got stuck, or I got nervous, because that happens. That totally happened to me. Like, it's just so overwhelming. There's all these services to use, and you're like, which one is the best one? And it feels like this permanent decision when you make it. So I totally get it. And then you're like, what do I even send? Like, I don't want to start building an email list until I know what to send. Like all of these worries and questions, right? So I totally get it. So, and believe me, you're not alone. Everybody, lots of people. Oh, hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. And Joanne says she writes historical fiction. Thank you, Sandra. Ooh. But she writes all kinds of stuff too, Joanne. Okay. So today we are talking about why you want to start collecting emails, which email service that we recommend to start with, and how to get the thing set up initially. Okay, that's what I'm going to talk about today. So if that sounds good to you guys, give me an emoji or a thumbs up or just write a comment and let me know if that sounds good to you guys. Like, because that's what we're going to talk about. Oh, hi, Carrie. Yay, I got a thumbs up. I see it. It floats up the screen when I'm doing this, you guys, which is super motivating. Okay, let me get started then. Why do you need to collect emails? And I know I covered this just a little bit briefly before, but I want to kind of deep dive a little bit into it. So collecting emails. I know. Thanks, Sandra. Sandra says, sounds good to me. I need to hear this over and over. Yeah. And believe me, I can tell you how many times I read, you need to start collecting emails before I started doing it. So I'm going to be that person to help you guys. Okay. You need to collect emails because it is a direct line of communications to your ideal readers. Okay. And the reason that's so important is because, and I'm going to say, you know what, why is emails better than social media likes? Hi, Carrie. Social media likes are good too, like if you can, but what you want to do is you want to move people from your social media to your email list. And the reason why is this. Let's say you put a book out and somebody really loves your book and they like your Facebook author page, but then you're working on the next book and it takes you 3 or 4, maybe 5 months to write and finish the next book before you get it out. Well, is that person who liked your Facebook page after the first book still going to be seeing your posts in 4 months? And it's yes, maybe no. We don't know. Like, I don't know if you've seen around here lately on Facebook, a lot of people are like, all of a sudden, I'm not seeing posts from people I normally see posts from. Facebook has control of the algorithms. They have control over who sees your posts and who doesn't, and you don't have any control over that. It's just like, you're like, I'm putting out good stuff, but no one's seeing it all of a sudden. And this happens to professionals. This happens to people who have tens of thousands of people on their page. And they're like, all of a sudden my engagement went down. And it's just because Facebook changed something in their algorithms. So yes, it's good to have social media. It's a great place to interact with people, but you really always want to be moving people to your email list, because your email list you have control over. No matter what email service that you are even using, you can download that list and take it with you wherever you go. Plus, your emails end up in the inbox of your readers, regardless of any algorithm. Like, there's no algorithms. It's there, and they either have to ignore it, delete it, or read it. But it's there. It's not that they never see it. Okay. So that's the why. Okay. Oh, so now if you have, so how many of you, question you guys, how many of you are signed up to your favorite author's email newsletters? Okay, and go ahead and tell me which newsletter you like. If you have a favorite newsletter that you love, go ahead and share who that is, because we're always looking for other people to borrow ideas from for awesome newsletters. And I want to let you know, in the Author Boss Academy, we go into this in deep dive. Okay, and now let me see. Stacy says Facebook can. Oh, I'm like all on one tiny little screen, but yes, but the gist is things could slow down or change at any time. It's not really under your control. That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, Stacy, we're on the same page. Yay, Stacy, I remember you, Morgan. Okay. Oh, Joanna Penn. Joanna Penn is amazing. Yeah, I have a girl crush on Joanna Penn. Plus, she's got a cute accent. Probably like you, Joanne Martin, you're Australia. Love Australian accents. I'm a quarter Australian. My grandpa's from Australia. So I'm going there someday. Okay. Now, so we just talked about the first point, which is why you need an email list. So if you guys don't, like, if you missed it, or you're like, why do I need one? Watch it again. You need one. Okay. Now, which email service to use. Okay. Now there's a lot of options out there, but the one that Megan and I here in the Author Like a Boss group recommend is Mailchimp. And the reason we do this is because, one, it's free when you first get started. Like, there's a lot of really good ones. There's a lot of, well, it's free and it's relatively easy to use if all you want to do is just send out a newsletter, get people to sign up and then send out a newsletter every week or two or month or whatever you're. And we're going to talk later about what to send and how often to send. That's going to be later this month. Okay. So if you want to keep posted about the Facebook Lives, you should sign up to our newsletter, which I'll post later in the comments. Okay. So we recommend Mailchimp because it's free up to the first 1,000 people on your list. And it's easy. Like once you get everything set up and you get some templates set up, okay, you can get some templates set up and then all you have to do is fill in the content. I'm going to talk about the content in a couple weeks. So stay tuned. But the first step is just getting it set up, okay? Now you're like, but what about after I reach 1,000 readers? Then I'm going to have to pay. Well, those 1,000 readers, one, if you have 1,000 readers, hopefully you're going to be selling books, right? To some of those readers on occasion. And two, once you have 1,000 readers, if you decide you want to move to a different email service, again, you can always download like a spreadsheet of your emails and take them with you wherever you go. They are yours now. These people agree, they're not, you know what I mean? These people agreed that they want to keep in contact with you. And so it's like, hey, they expect you to keep in contact with them. They gave you their email so that you could keep in contact with them. It's so awesome. People are so generous. Okay, so we recommend Mailchimp. Mailchimp.com. Mailchimp. Free, easy. You can set up templates. And if you guys are curious and you really want to know, like you need somebody to walk you through it step by step, if you want to consider joining the Author Boss Academy, we actually have whole modules and masterclass and all kinds of live video tutorials about like walking you through literally like, and then you click here. And then you click here for those people who are a little bit tech nervous. But we give you all that information in the Author Boss Academy. But you don't need, but we're going to give you that information now too. Okay. So here's what I don't want to have happen. Okay. Stacy says, yay, love the chimp. Yeah. Plus they give you like a really cool high five, a little monkey high five every time you send out a newsletter. They're like, ha, pop. And you're like, yes, I did do it. Anyways, oops, sorry. Okay. So what I don't want to have happen for you guys is all the options for where to host your email list, or, like you're like, but what about Aweber? But what about ConvertKit? What about, like, there are a lot of options, but what I don't want to have happen is that the fear or the question keeps you from moving forward. Okay. So this is a little bit, meta, but fear of success and moving forward often shows up as inaction in the face of options and having to make a decision. Like, so that fear, when you don't feel like confronting that fear, will show up as, but I don't know which one to choose. Okay. And I'm not judging because it happens to me all the time. And that's how I know. I'm like, oh, I must be nervous about something because I'm making these, I'm not making a choice. I'm not making a decision. So what I'm going to say is choose one. Choose Mailchimp because it's free and because we can give you all the help that you need to get started with it. And then later, if it's not working for you, you can move. But you can make the choice now to get started and follow through. Okay. Does this make sense for you guys? Like if this makes sense, give me a 1 to 10, or, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments and I will try to get to them at the end of the recording, or sometime later this month. Okay. Give me an emoji or something so I can just know that you're there. Okay. So first we talked about why you need an email list. Then we talked about which email list to use, Mailchimp. Hi, Sandra. And Mailchimp, you guys, what Mailchimp does, or all these email places, but they set up a place for your emails to reside. So you don't have to have them in your inbox and you're in your contacts. Your emails reside there and you don't have to like keep track of them. Mailchimp takes care of that for you. And then when you're ready to send an email out to everybody, you just go and you log into Mailchimp and then you write an email and it sends them all out to your people for you. And it helps you to navigate so that you're not being spammy. and again, it's free. So it makes it so instead of having to do it all from your Gmail account or your Yahoo or whatever that you have, you use Mailchimp and they send it from you for you. It's really handy. Okay. So how do you get started with Mailchimp? And this is like the practical, this is a practical part, you guys, for those people who haven't used Mailchimp before. Okay. How you get started? Well, first you go to Mailchimp.com. Okay. And you sign up for, oh, here's Charlie's appearance. Hi, Charlie. He always makes an appearance in these things. Go to Mailchimp.com and sign up for a free account. And you can use whatever email address, you know, I recommend if you don't have one yet, well, and if you want to, having an author email address, but remember you're going to have to check it to see if any of your super fans write you back. So sign up for a free Mailchimp account, and it's free. So go sign up. And the next thing you're going to want to do is to create a list. That's the first thing. And it has a couple of things, but what you want to do is create a list. And this list is where people's emails are going to be housed. So a really simple name to give them is just like your author name. So if you have a pen name or whatever your name is that you're using for your books, just have your list be named your author name. And that is the first steps to just like, by the end of this month, we're going to walk you through sending out. But for all those people who have not yet signed up or done anything with emails, the first steps are to sign up for a Mailchimp account and create a list. Okay. And it's going to ask you some information it's going to ask you some information and just fill out that information. If you want somebody to walk you through this, or like, if you're like, I don't know what to put here, you guys, we cover all this so in depth in the Author Boss Academy. But for those of you who are just like, I can handle this, that's your first step for this week. We're going to do it week by week this month, you guys. By the end of the month, you're going to be like, yeah. Okay. So that's your take action step. Your take action step is to go do that. And also, so go to open your Mailchimp account, create an author list, create your list, and then go get our Author Like a Boss newsletter checklist. Okay. Megan made a really, really awesome checklist. She made it for our Book Launch Like a Boss bootcamp. But I was like, you know what? We should give this to everybody. So we switched out the header and we said Author Like a Boss. And it's a printable checklist that you can look at every time you send a newsletter, so you know that nothing is getting missed. Okay. So some of you folks, ooh, good question. I'll get to you in a second, Kimberly. Okay, so where you can sign up to get the newsletter checklist, if you want to get a newsletter checklist, and it's really handy to just have so you know that everything is getting completed. Okay, you can sign up and get the newsletter checklist there at allwriterswelcome.com/newsletter checklist. Now, again, we're rebranding, so if you're watching this later, it might be at authorlikeaboss.com newsletter checklist, because we're changing from All Writers Welcome to Author Like a Boss. But right now, I didn't want to skip my Facebook Live just because we were rebranding, and I'm like, but I don't have the website set up yet. And that's how you can trust that I know what I'm doing, because we're inviting you to our newsletter. We're going to help you can sign up with us. Okay. Kimberly asked, can you have separate lists for separate things? For example, I write across multiple genres, so I may not want to send a genealogy email to my homeschool readers. And yes, you can have separate lists, or you can have separate segments within a list. So that's something that you can do, because yes, if you write now for a lot of authors, you know, I think we think the genres are totally separate. Like I write romantic suspense and I write, you know, shifter romance, Carrie. Okay. But there's a lot of overlap there because they're both romance. So I think you don't necessarily need two lists for that, although it can be handy to have them separated. So when you do want to give out, it can be handy to have segments. So that way, if you do have something specific to go out to one person or to one group of people, you can. So yes, you can absolutely have multiple segments. But for people who are just starting, especially fiction writers, I recommend starting with one list. If you're having trouble even getting one newsletter out, I don't recommend being like, well, let me start all these lists and then commit yourself to multiple newsletters that you have to maintain, because if you're having trouble with one, you're definitely going to have more trouble if you have 3 newsletters. Okay, so try to make one general list that covers all of them, Carrie, and don't make yourself more work, because another way that fear of success shows up and fear of moving forward shows up is by making so much work for yourself that you can't do any of it well. And I've definitely done that before, but I am here in the Author Boss Academy and in Author Like a Boss to keep you guys moving forward, so that you actually, because we're not going to let your fear stop you from making money and achieving your dreams of being a successful author. So I'm going to be like, dude, get your Mailchimp.com set up. Get your Mailchimp set up. Make a list. One list, not 3 lists. Unless you're like, yeah, I can handle it. But I really don't recommend that. Pick one. Start with one. Get good at it, and then do another one. Okay, so if you guys are even a little bit curious about the Author Boss Academy, because we do go over this really, really, really in depth with video tutorials and PDF step-by-step worksheets that you can access at any time. The Author Boss Academy, we have weekly live calls, we have a private Facebook group, we have all of these video tutorials and worksheets, and it's only $39 a month. Plus you get to hang out with a bunch of other really committed authors who are doing exactly what you're doing and are so encouraging and supportive and keeping you moving forward on what what your dream is. And the beginning of the year, if this year you were like, I'm committed to my writing, right now is the time to spend to spend time with other people who are there with you. So yeah, $39 a month, and or $3.99 for the year. That price is going to go up at the end of the month. So if it's something you're thinking about, we're going to do some webinars, but we haven't scheduled one yet. We haven't set it up yet. So if you're curious and you want to find out more, keep an eye out. Otherwise, you can if you want to sign up now, you can always, or if you want to look at our sales page again, get more info about it. Again, we're rebranding, and we haven't rebranded all the way, so it's Author Boss Academy, but it was the All Writers Welcome Academy, so we're doodle-doop. And next week, you guys, I am going to talk about, to continue our January of setting up emails and sending out your first newsletters, I am going to cover how to set up a form to start collecting emails, and how to set up and why to set up your automation email. Okay, so what is an automation email? Find out next week. Next week on my Facebook Live here on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. For me, I'm in Mountain, it's 11, but that's the one that nobody ever puts. Okay, so if this was helpful for you, or if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments or put them in the group. If you are seeing this in All Writers Welcome, you're going to want to transition over to You're going to want to transition over to Author Like a Boss Facebook group because that's where we're going to start putting all of our stuff, all the good stuff. Stacy says, good cliffhanger. I know. I didn't even plan that, but I was like, oh, if I get going, I'm going to explain it now. And then what am I going to talk about next week? So, yep. So if you have any questions, let us know. We'll be in the Author Like a Boss group answering them. And yeah, and you're welcome to get that newsletter checklist from Megan at allwriterswelcome.com/newsletter checklist. Trying to keep it simple, you guys. Thank you so much, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Goodbye.